Welcome to episode 3 of soundBites, the podcast brought to you by Vegetarian for Life. Today we're talking to Hannah Mulholland, who's Divisional Activities Manager for Barchester Care. Aside from her work for the chain, Hannah is championing veganism in her role at Barchester, which we'll discuss more in the episode, and she was even winner of V4Life's Award for Excellence in 2017. Vegetarian for Life recently launched a new fund to help support older vegans and vegetarians living in care. The Show You Care Award is open to any UK care setting that supports older vegans and vegetarians. Awards of between £25 and £1,000 are currently available. We hope to support initiatives that will enhance the quality of life for older vegans and vegetarians. So how about hosting a themed event based around veganism or vegetarianism, or meat-free Mondays? Could you connect with a local caterer to provide an afternoon tea or takeaway of vegan or veggie food? Or perhaps you could develop a life story book around a resident's veganism or vegetarianism. The award is open to all proposals, both big and small, so for further information, please email info@vegetarianforlife.org.uk or call the charity directly on 0161 257 0887. So our first guest today is Hannah Mulholland, who is Divisional Activities Manager for Barchester Healthcare. Barchester Healthcare are one of the biggest independent care providers in the UK. They currently employ 17,000 staff who are supporting more than 11,000 people in over 200 care homes. Not only that, but they're also a member of V4Life's UK list. How are you doing today, Hannah?
Oh, hello. Thanks for having me, Kieran. It's nice to be on today.
Well, it's really good to have you. And as we mentioned, Barchester have been members with us for quite a long time. So it's nice to get you onto this episode of the podcast. So you've worked for Barchester for quite some time. So can you tell us just a bit about your role there?
Yeah, I started with Barchester. I've nearly been with Barchester for 9 years now. So I started as an activities coordinator in Harperfield's care home. So if you don't know what activities coordinators do, they're involved in the planning and organising sort of day-to-day activities for the residents in the care home. So it's great, spending that one-to-one time with the residents. You can get to know them and tailor-make your activities programme all around the stuff that they want to enjoy, they enjoy doing and that they want to do. So, so that's fabulous. So I started off doing that, first of all, and I absolutely loved it.
Yep.
So it was very hands-on with the residents. And then I moved more towards the sort of training role. So I became a Divisional Activity Manager. So now I support 75 of our care homes. We've got over 200 in the UK. So I look after the Central Division. So I offer support and training. So I travel all up and down the country delivering training and sharing best practice. Just trying to encourage and inspire the activities coordinators to create sort of meaningful person-centred activities, really, where I can with the residents. So it's fab. I absolutely love it. I get to see lots of very inspiring people and lots of enthusiastic people, because obviously when you're an activities coordinator, there's, you exude enthusiasm, or you should do anyway. So I get to, spend my day with some fantastic people who really just want to create a lovely environment and home for the residents. So yeah, it's great. I wouldn't do anything else.
We, V4Life, have known you for quite some time, and you're definitely one of the most passionate people that we've worked with. But so I suppose 75 care homes, you could probably find yourself in a different place on a different day, I suppose, any day of the week, or are you based in one place?
Yeah, no, my division goes all the way up to sort of like Mansfield, and then across to Great Yarmouth, all the way down to sort of London and Essex, and then deep into Wales. So everything you see in that sort of kite shape is where I will be going. So I could be in Norwich one day and then in Wales the next. So it's a lot of driving, but it's fabulous because everybody does things differently. Although we're one large care provider, Barchester, we don't standardise everything. Everything's not done exactly the same. So everything is different when you go into each individual care home. So yeah, it's lovely. A lot of variety.
Yes, so you've been on our UK list for quite a while. Obviously, we're really proud to not only work with such a great organisation, but someone like yourself who is really pioneering making vegan and veggie options accessible for your residents. Was there anything particular that made you want to sign up to the UK list?
Well, originally, because obviously I was an activities coordinator, and I remember finding some magazines and leaflets and things that had been addressed to the home with V for Life, and I thought, oh, I was having a little read through it. So I've been vegan myself now for 6 years. But obviously when I first started, I've been vegetarian my whole life, so I've never eaten meat or fish. So when I first started with Barchester 9 years ago, I was vegetarian at the time, and I thought, I didn't even know anything about, I didn't know about this company, and I thought, okay, well, Barchester are very progressive. We were always involved in lots of different charities, and always, progressive in their way of thinking. We're always looking that step forward, and I thought, okay, this sounds like a fantastic company to be able to sort of get involved in and see if I can support in any way. Because obviously I was vegetarian myself, and then I was doing the role where I was hands-on with the residents, and I was supporting those residents on a daily basis. We had some vegetarian residents ourselves at the time, so I thought, right, I'll get in contact and see if there's anything that we can do, and this sort of relationship blossomed from there, really.
Well, I started in V for Life in 2018, and I can remember one of the first things I saw was the vegan festival, which you had at Harperfield's Care Home, which anyone listening, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend giving that a watch. That's on the V for Life YouTube channel, which looked like an amazing event. I was wondering what the response to that was like. I mean, did you find that the meat eaters enjoyed it just as much as the vegans and vegetarians?
So originally, the reason why I did that to begin with was I did one originally with just the residents, because they kept asking me, well, what do you eat at Christmas time? What do you eat? And this is when I was vegan, obviously. They always want to know. They're always very inquisitive, the residents are. And, not in a nosy way, but they're just fascinated. They're fascinated by different cultures in the home, different traditions, and obviously different sort of ways of eating and dietary requirements and stuff. So I was telling them all about different things, different places I'd been, different things that I'd eaten, and I said, I can eat everything that you guys are eating, but we just have, a vegan version. So I said, let me do a day, and I'll make some food, and I'll speak to the chefs, and we can have a few little tasters. So the first one that I did was great. We had hay bales outside, and we did it as like a little mini festival in autumn, obviously, November the 2nd for World Vegan Day, and it was lovely, really great response. So the following year we decided to do it a little bit bigger, and we invited so for the second one, I had a live folk band there. We had all the hay bales and the marquees outside, but I cooked lots of different types of vegan food. I had a vegan chef came in, a celebrity vegan chef who was my friend. He came and did a little cookery demo for everybody as well and talked through that. That was great. We had a vegan cake stall. So there was loads of different things going on. And it was very stimulating for the residents, not only from a taste perspective that they were trying different foods, but they were also, experiencing watching someone cook the food and talking about it as well. So I think it was quite an immersive experience for the residents, and obviously the music and everything in the background as well. So it was a really nice way of introducing people, not only for the residents, but also the staff that came along as well, and their families and their loved ones that all came and joined in. So a lot of them everybody tried the food. They loved the food.
Yeah.
There was, everyone was very positive about it, and majority of the people that attended, they were not veggie themselves or not vegan, but many of them said that they couldn't taste the difference. We had things there like jacket potatoes and chilies and curried beans, and obviously all your alternatives with your vegan butters and what have you. And I did some pecan pie with soy cream. So lots of the things that they were trying, even down to toffee apples. The residents were munching their way through toffee apples as well. So loads of different. I tried to theme it a little bit more autumnal because it was that time of year. So it was that real sort of hearty, warm, tasty food, but just the vegan version of it. So it went down really, really well, and lots of the staff afterwards were asking me for the recipes and what the secret ingredients and what have you was.
I suppose I don't know whether it's tricky to come up with new and innovative ideas when you're planning the activities, but it must have gone down really well, and you must have enjoyed it, especially being able to do something that you're so passionate about and then get to see everybody else enjoy.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I think it was the first one that had ever occurred in the UK. I think the first vegan festival in a care home. So we were in the Guardian newspaper, and we got in lots of different things. This was when sort of veganism was really sort of starting to kick off, really. I think it's massively mainstream now. Everywhere you go, vegan, vegan, vegan. But at this time, to introduce it to a care home was quite innovative, I suppose. But for me, it was the norm, because I've been brought up as vegetarian and been vegan for 6 years. So for me, it was just the food that I eat. And it was kind of just a way of me introducing it to the residents, their families, as conversations that, as evidence from conversations that we'd been having throughout the years. And it kind of blew up like that, really. But we had lots of people attend and some great feedback. Yeah, it was great.
It's like you say as well, though, isn't it? You get all these questions, people wondering what it is you eat, and think that it's some crazy concoction you've got. But for the most part, it's very, very similar, just slightly altered, or with a slightly different ingredient in it. So it's not a million miles away from what you're already eating. Have you had any more events like that since then, or was that the only one you've done?
Well, we've obviously my role now has changed, so I'm supporting lots of different homes. So I get to sort of see a bird's eye view of what's going on in the other homes. So we all do weekly activities calendars and monthly activities calendars, and so I get to see those, and I can often see that vegetarian and vegan activities are sort of embedded in their weekly calendars. So we've had like live cookery demos with you guys. We did that over a month or so ago now, I think it was, and got involved with that, and there was lots of the homes that got involved there, so that was fab. There was lots of homes that have done activities during Veganuary, because they're doing activities, they're baking, and they're talking about learning about veganism and watching YouTube programs and clips and recipes and stuff. So yeah, I think they have tried to incorporate it, because it's become more popular now, I suppose. It's one of those things that let's try something different. Let's try and be all inclusive to everybody. If we've got we've got lots of vegetarians in our Barchester homes, not so many vegans, but I think that will change going forward, obviously. The next generation and the generation after that, there's going to be lots and lots of vegans. So yeah, I've just got to make sure that we're catering for all, really.
Well, that's kind of it as well, isn't it? It's putting in the work now and then, making sure that when there is, more and more vegans coming into your care homes, that are kind of prepared. And
that's it. Yeah, it's being that one step forward, I think, rather than trying to react and suddenly, we've got someone vegan in here, what do we do? I think okay, well, we've introduced bits of vegan food before. We've introduced a lot of vegetarian food, because we have a vegetarian option every day for our residents in all of our homes. So they're used to vegetarian food, but introducing the vegan alternatives as well. So it's just, it's just an additional thing that we would offer, rather than it being something that we would have to react to. So
yeah, absolutely. Obviously, it's becoming more of a mainstream thing now, and certainly I found that the chefs are more aware of veganism, and it's maybe if they're asked to cook a vegan dish, they kind of have a few go-to things that they can pick out of the cupboard or out of the kitchen and use. Like you said, there's a lot of vegetarians, maybe not so many vegans, but you're finding that vegan meals, a lot of people are eating vegan meals at Barchester, even if they aren't vegan. Would people opt for those out of choice now, do you think? Or
I would think so. I mean, the fact that we offer vegetarian meal every day anyway, they're used to that. But now the fact that you have quite a few people with allergies as well, don't forget, we have lots of people with allergies. So we have some residents that are lactose intolerant, so and who choose not to eat meat, or they would choose the vegetarian option. So a lot of the time we would be using plant-based milks, soya creams, the plant-based margarines anyway, to make sure that we were catering for those residents too, the lactose intolerant residents. So yeah, I think the chefs actually relish in a challenge. I think whatever chef I've ever been to, because I always go and visit my homes, and I have something to eat while I'm at the homes, and they always come up with something fantastic for me when I let them know that I'm vegan. So a lot of the time, especially what I try and encourage as well when we're doing activities, is introducing different cultures into our daily and our weekly activities calendars. So if we're celebrating Diwali or we're celebrating World Australia Day, or just international and national events that we celebrate. More often than not, we're introducing foods from those cultures, which the chefs are excited to be creating something new, whether it's Caribbean Day or, they like to create new things. And vegan food, a lot of the time, is colourful, exciting, vibrant, tasty. So I think the chefs like to have a challenge as well in the Barchester homes, because they're very good chefs. We haven't just got cooks; we've got some 5-star chefs that are working in our homes, and they like that challenge, I think.
Well, I think as well, I found when I went vegan, I was actually eating a lot more variation than before I was vegan, and again, it sometimes seemed like it's quite a limited diet, but it actually expanded my food choices a lot. I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but when I was younger, I was the fussiest eater that you'd ever come across. What I eat now, if I showed my former self that, I probably would have turned it away. But there's so many more choices, and it really does influence your food choices. And I find that I'm eating a lot more variation now than I used to. Do you think there's a particular reason why people are trying vegan food? Is it just more of an awareness of the diet? People are more aware that it is delicious food, or do you think it's just because it's easier to get hold of?
I think there's a combination of a few of those things, really. I think social media has got a lot to do with it. Especially as there's a lot more younger people that are moving towards the veganism, and I think like I say, those Instagram food pages where you've got the bright, colourful, vibrant food, and I think that has a lot to do with it, because we eat with our eyes, don't we? And when we see things that are enticing, we'll think, I could possibly make that. And I think your taste buds change as well when you go from. So I obviously went from being a vegetarian to being a vegan. So my taste buds changed there, because I used to eat loads of dairy and milk and cream and what have you. And I think I had to change slightly what I was before the vegan cheeses and stuff came out, because 6 years ago, vegan cheese didn't taste what vegan cheese tastes like today.
I can remember that. Yeah, that was.
That's it. So
you took a risk when you were buying one of them, didn't you?
Well, that's it. You kind of think, I won't have that on there. That's fine. Whereas when I was veggie, I would have had more cheese on it. So it kind of takes away from the taste of the original ingredients, which you want to concentrate on. And I think which is what is celebrated a lot with vegan cooking. If you're going to have, whereas a meat eater's diet, they may have the steak, but you may have some slow roasted aubergine instead, and that is the part that you would celebrate of your meal with lots of other things. So I think the creativity has helped. I think the stigma behind being vegan, I think there's even fine dining vegan restaurants now, your 7 courses of this beautiful food that is Instagram worthy to take photos of. I think that as everyone's kind of cottoned onto that, which is great. It has become more trendy. It's it's become more trendy. It's more popular. You're seeing it a lot more on social media. Most of your restaurants as well now will serve something vegan. 6 years ago, when I used to go into restaurants and gone are the days where we only get sort of tomato pasta offered to us. Now we get this array of amazing foods, and a lot of restaurants have their own specific vegan menu as well, so that helps. I think convenience helps. I think social media side of things, but I also think there's a lot of people, even people that aren't interested in the social media side of things, and they're going out and eating at restaurants, but I think people are a lot more conscious now, environmentally conscious. And things like Netflix, Amazon Prime, creating these documentaries where they talk about global issues and the impacts of meat eating on the planet. I think that it has kind of twigged in quite a few people, and they think, right, okay, maybe if I don't go vegan fully, I definitely need to cut down my meat consumption. So I think, the introduction of Netflix documentaries and combined with social media and the restaurants getting on board and supermarkets getting on board, I think that's how it has suddenly elevated to this level where we're at now, which I never thought we'd be at so soon. I think it really has jumped so quickly, and it's great. It's great for me. It's great for my family. It'll only get bigger, I think.
It is interesting looking back because I've been vegan 6 years as well, and I was
Oh,
vegetarian for 10 years before that. But I can remember going vegan and there was nothing in the supermarket, and if there was, it was a case of going through the food labeling with a magnifying glass, wasn't it, to check. And now it's so much easier with vegan labeling, and there's free from
that's it,
sections.
yeah.
I can only imagine it's going to get easier and easier. But yeah, like you say, there's a lot of people who are meat reducing and cutting down certain elements of the diet, whether that's meat or dairy or whatever it is. So it's not so much a case of all or nothing anymore. I don't think it's not a case of you have to go vegan and that's that. It's why don't you have a one day a week where you don't eat meat or something like that?
And I think that's what a lot of people are doing. They may not label themselves as a vegan. I label myself as a vegan and proud, but there's a lot of people who are half flexitarian and they'll maybe only eat meat once or twice a week. We don't want, a handful of perfect vegans. We want millions of people that are trying their best. And I think the amount of care homes, I mean, Barchester have got 200 plus care homes. If we just a couple of days a week were thinking with the residents, right, let's introduce something, with more plant-based milks or a plant-based cream instead, or, using plant-based products rather than animal-based products in just a few of the meals. Each home doing that, that cascades, and it makes a big difference overall, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. So if you had maybe had a non-vegan who hadn't really tried vegan food, and is there any one dish in particular that you'd recommend trying if you aren't vegan, if you were new to it?
I think vegan burgers have come a long way. Yeah. I think, if I was trying to convince someone, to try vegan food, and I wanted to, I like things like Buddha bowls with tabbouleh salad and all different things like that. But if someone isn't used to that, and I think I would go with a burger. Right, I think I'd go with a burger. I think I'd go with some nice toppings on it, some nice mild vegan cheese, maybe a seitan burger or a soya burger, something that is almost replicating a burger that you would buy. Lots of different toppings on it, gherkins, vegan mayo. I mean, Hellman's have even brought out now a baconaise. I don't know whether you've tried that.
Not yet. I've been trying to find it, but I've not had any luck so far. But
it's brilliant.
It's on the list to find. Yeah.
That's it. So like it's like a smoky bacon mayo and onion rings. We can have onion rings. So I think all of the toppings and stuff like that with a burger, I think would. Well, I know for a fact, because I know that some of my friends whose partners aren't vegan, they will often choose like a Beyond Meat burger or something when they go out because it's nice, because it's tasty, it's nice, it's reminiscent of the stuff that they eat normally. It's not. I don't think vegan food should be alienating people when they're sitting at the table with people who maybe aren't choosing those options. I think if you're doing something that's just as tasty, but it just hasn't got animal-based products in it, I think you're on to a winner. Then you don't want to alienate people and one person sitting at the end of the table and all they can choose from the menu is one thing and it's a salad, and everybody else's food comes out smelling beautiful.
I know what you mean.
and it's one of those things. I think we need to try and make things as similar as we can to those from so it's more of a giving up something. It's actually just, okay, I'm going to try this version of my meal today. I think that's the way it's going to have to go if we're moving forward. I definitely think that, and this is happening. Look at KFC, look at Starbucks, look at McDonald's, Burger King. They've all got a plant-based version of what they're already doing, and we know they're multi-billion-pound companies. We know that works and people buy that food. So why not make something that's convenient, easy, that they can just pick up at the same time, rather than thinking, right, we've got to create something completely new and wonderful and obscure and that may put people off. So I think burgers have definitely been a big influence in moving forward with the vegan movement. Do you agree?
I think so, because I can remember when there was always a difference. There was a veggie burger that was kind of a meat replacement, but then there was a vegan burger, but it was made, obviously it's made out of vegetables, but it was more like a bean burger kind of thing, which for some people probably wasn't quite as appetizing. So I think
Yeah.
I think you're right in saying that it's not a case of going without anymore. It's a case of just making a simple swap.
Amendments, literally.
Yeah, and like you said, there's a lot of people doing it where it's they'll go out for a meal and people will choose a vegan menu or something from the vegan menu because it's nice and that's what they want.
And and there's care and attention that goes into describing the food that you're going to be eating as well. I think there's just as much emphasis on making it sound delicious as it is with all of the others. So when people are reading what's on there, they're thinking, oh, okay, I've not had that on a burger before, I'm going to try that. And it's literally just the seitan patty, and then you've got all of this other stuff coming after it. So I think it's the way that restaurants have got on board with it, not only just because they have to, but because they want to make something sound good, and they want to make something sound appetizing as well, and not alien.
Definitely.
And that's definitely been, a massive movement since, 6 years ago, 10 years ago.
I think as well, and I don't know how much you'll come into contact with wholesalers in your line of work, whether that's more, the chefs or, the catering team, but we found there's so many more wholesalers now that are selling vegan products, whether that's burgers or, plant milks. Bidfood, for example, a couple of years ago, I think they were one of the first companies to bring out a fully vegan catalogue.
Fantastic.
And it's amazing because you can see some catalogs and then there's maybe a vegetarian section at the back, and then like we said before, going through ingredients, maybe you have to go through them all and you pick out one or two vegan things, where they've got this fully vegan menu to choose from. So that's amazing. Yeah, and there's lots and lots of companies doing it now, so it's making it even easier and just really accessible. So it's great. Let's talk about desserts. So desserts can be quite tricky for vegans. Sometimes the vegan option can be just fruit or sorbet, which there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but sometimes people want something a bit more filling. So have you got any tips or anything in particular that you can pass on about creating vegan desserts that would appeal to vegans and non-vegans?
You're right in the fruit option. I mean, I went to a sit-down dinner once, and it was three course meal, and I was literally the only vegan that was there. This was a long time ago, and I had melon balls for starter, and then I had sliced melon for my pudding.
Oh, wow, okay.
I was like, wow, they've really put a lot of effort into this. But yeah, I mean, I love fruit. I eat lots and lots of fruit, but sometimes you really just want something that's indulgent, don't you? So I think obviously dark chocolate, anything 70% and above is generally vegan. Plus, you've got a lot of vegan sort of chocolate now as well, which has got a lower cocoa, so it doesn't have to be dark and very, very rich. But I would always use sort of dark chocolate, blend it with, warm up some soy cream and some syrup and melt some dark chocolate in. You can make a ganache and put some fresh. Once you put it in the fridge, obviously put some fresh raspberries with it. You can also use other things, sort of like silken tofu and avocado, and you can make dark chocolate mousses. I've actually recently, I went to one of our homes in Shirley, one of our Barchester homes in Shirley, and had a meeting, and they'd prepared an entirely vegan menu, which was absolutely gorgeous. I had this beautiful soup. I had this pumpkin soup. No, I had butternut squash soup with pumpkin seeds on the top and risotto for my main. And then the pudding, they'd made a passion fruit and coconut panna cotta. But they used, instead of using, so panna cotta, normally you would make that with gelatin. Panna cotta, that sort of wobbly white dish, but it's absolutely delicious to have fresh passion fruit on the top. But they'd used carrageenan instead of using, so it was like a vegan version of that. So there's so many different things. Pecan pie and custard. I had a beautiful sticky toffee pudding last night with Alpro custard, but Marks and Spencer's have brought out a Plant Kitchen sticky toffee pudding. So there's just so many different options for puddings. I don't think we do without really at all anymore. And loads of the restaurants, you get your cheesecakes, don't you? Raspberry cheesecakes, and I could go on talking about puddings for hours.
Well, you just reminded me when you said using silken tofu, because I know tofu cheesecake is a thing, isn't it? And
Mm.
that's something that I think some people struggle to kind of understand. And I remember someone saying, well, why would you want your cheesecake to taste like tofu? And then I remembered someone else along the line saying, well, you put egg in a cake, but you don't put your egg in the cake to make the cake taste like egg.
It's just like egg.
It's not going
But
to taste
also,
like tofu. It's just an
yeah,
ingredient, isn't it?
tofu doesn't taste like anything.
Yeah.
It's so versatile, I think. Silken tofu, especially, it tastes of virtually nothing. It's just a great carrier of flavour, isn't it? We marinate tofu, we press tofu, we make it super firm, and tofu, I get it. I do get it. I do get why people don't like tofu.
It's a love and hate thing, isn't it? Yeah.
That's it. It's a love and hate thing. But the thing is, if you're not experienced with using tofu, it is going to be bland. You need to bring those flavors to it. One of my favorite dishes in the morning is scrambled tofu, but you have to use but you have to use the kalanamak, which is the black salt, which gives it the sort of dark, so that eggy smell and the taste, because otherwise you've just got yellow tofu and it doesn't taste like egg. So I think you have to put the additional effort into it. It's not going to taste like egg straight away because it's not egg. So we have to introduce those different flavors to it. But that's the same with using tofu for puddings. Tofu cheesecake, chocolate mousses. Also, if you're going to do sort of raw dishes, soaked cashews is great to use. Blitz up your soaked cashews, add your sweetness in there, your vanilla bean paste. You can make some beautiful raw cheesecakes with medjool dates and hazelnuts. There's so many. There's even raw vegan cafes and restaurants where you can go and try some of this stuff that's literally completely natural. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I know what you mean as well with tofu. If you don't really know how to prepare it and what to do with it, if you get it out of the packet, you kind of end up with this grey slab, and you're kind of like, oh, what do I do with that? So you need to kind of plan ahead. But okay, so the very last question for you then. So you're planning a 3-course vegan meal. What are your 3 courses of choice?
Do you know what, this is a hard one, because whenever I used to go out, go around my friend's house, we used to take it in turns to make the food, but it always ended up being me just making it at other people's houses. And we used to go for like a theme, so I'd do the starter and the main and the pudding all one theme. I'd say pick a country and I'd research what I could make from that country, and I'd do themed evening meal. But if I was going to do a 3-course meal myself, and it wasn't that I was serving it to someone else, it would be probably from different countries. So I would have, for my starter, probably garlic and vegan Stilton mushrooms en croûte. So like a pastry case with like a vegan Stilton sauce with garlic mushrooms, a little bit of salad on the side. And then for my main, I would do a vegan chicken dakashwari. Have you ever had a dakashwari?
I don't think I have, no.
So it's similar. It's Indian, but it's similar to a korma, but you have mango pulp in there, and you have coconut. It's absolutely delicious. Lots of fenugreek. It's beautiful. And I would use like a mock chicken. I like the Naked Glory stuff because it keeps that firmness. So vegan chicken dakashwari, and I'd make Peshwari naans with it, a sweet naan with almonds and syrup, and definitely, that is my cheap meal. If I'm gonna have a takeaway, that's always what I want. And we've got a fantastic in Coventry. There's a fantastic place called Turmeric Gold, and they can create anything vegan for you that's on the menu, which is fabulous. So that's what I would always choose from there, but I do make it myself as well. And then for my pudding, I would probably go for something quite English. I do like a traditional English pudding. I would have like a rhubarb crumble with custard, some vegan custard. So it would be quite a heavy 3-course meal with not a bit of salad in sight. But I'm telling you, every single one of them would be really tasty. But a vegan pistachio ice cream, if I wasn't going to have the rhubarb crumble, I would have some vegan pistachio ice cream. But there's so many different options for vegan ice cream now. It was originally, we had one that came out. It was a Wall Swedish glaze, I think it's called. They still sell it.
Vanilla. Yeah.
beautiful. It's really nice, but we've come loads of different flavors now. So, and ice cream is one of my favorite. Even traveling abroad, whenever I go abroad, you even have vegan ice cream options now, and it's not just sorbet. I think that was one of my favorite things ever to go. I went to Italy, and there's this beautiful ice cream shop, and they even had like vegan chocolate, vegan hazelnut, vegan pistachio. I was like, oh, there's literally, for me, I think there's absolutely no reason not to be vegan when you have all of these amazing options for you, and it's just going to get better and better. So
just to clarify, there was no melon balls on that menu then?
No melon balls.
Not that time. No worries. Brilliant. Well, yeah. Thank you again for joining us today. Like I say, we're really appreciative of all the hard work you put in for your residents, both in terms of catering for vegetarians and vegans, but also showing that vegan food is fun and it can be enjoyed by everyone, and it's not a strange thing to eat anymore. So for anyone listening, if you need any more information on Barchester Care Homes, you can head to their website, which is just barchester.com. You'll be able to find a full list of their care homes, as well as a bit of help and advice and a bit about life at Barchester as well. Or you can find them on Twitter. Their handle is @Barchester_care, or on Facebook @Barchester Healthcare. So big thank you again, Hannah. Thanks for joining us again today.
Oh, thanks, Kieran. Thank you. Bye.
Well, that wraps up episode 3 of Soundbites. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Don't forget, Vegetarian for Life's Show Your Care Award is still open to any UK care setting that supports older vegans and vegetarians. Awards of between £25 and £1,000 are available to support initiatives that will enhance the quality of life for older vegans and vegetarians. So for further information, please email info@vegetarianforlife.org.uk or call the charity on 0161 257 0887. And for other support, information or details on joining our UK list, you can find our website at www.vegetarianforlife.org.uk.